Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. It is Wednesday lunchtime. We hope you're all settled in, happy and healthy, doing the things that you love with those you love to do them with. I'm here with Johnny H, as always, partner in crime. And guys, we've got some interesting updates to talk about. Andrew Ashcroft, son of former Tory deputy chairman, I think. Donor as well, and current shareholder of Tottenham, or at least possibly still current shareholder of Tottenham. His son, who's got his own bunch of skeletons in the closet, a really interesting guy, very interesting character, out in Belize, has bought apparently 3.48% of Tottenham. We're going to chew through what that might mean. It could be a big nothing burger. It could be a transfer of wealth between the family for tax purposes, or it could be the indication of what we've been looking for, which is some sort of investment. It's very opaque. There's nothing out from Tottenham to confirm. They've just declined to comment, but we can go through what we've got to work with and show you some things regarding asset match and how those minority shareholders work. There's obviously always other news we're going to go through as well with transfer news, views and clues for the next hour and 10 before Johnny and I go on our way to see the Tottenham tonight. Guys, please do smash the like button for us if you enjoy the content. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you are watching and you'd like to participate in the chat over there, all you've got to do is rub the sub and it should open up for you like Bonnie Blue. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment or two. Let us know your thoughts on today's show as we get it done. Also, guys, the video is on Spotify and the audio is also available straight after the show on Apple Pods as well. So if you're interested in the podcast version, then please do get over there. Find us. Links are in the description, but also just search for Football Inc. And you can, if you wouldn't mind, give us a 5-star rating and a follow. Lastly, but by no means least, before I come to Johnny and find out how he's doing, Breathe Butler, Breathe is today's sponsors. okjersey.com. If you're looking for the best replica shirts in town at the best prices, okjersey.com is where you can find them. Shirts from all over European football. You know we like to celebrate all sorts of shirts and all sorts of teams over here at Football Inc., where you can get the best prices in town at okjersey.com. Scan the QR code for more. By the way, the best prices get even better if you use discount code FINC, F-I-N-C, at checkout, right under Johnny's left arm there, and you can get an extra 8% off. Can't ask fairer than that. Johnny, I can't ask fairer than asking how you are, my man. How are you, buddy?
I think I'm good. Was interesting watching the game tonight. Listen, it's hard to get mega excited about tonight's game against Doncaster, but if I was looking to see the also rans, the kids, then I think I'd be more excited if I knew they were going to play tonight. But
nice little article out on the Evening Standard that is predicting that Luca Williams-Barnett is going to play, and they gave a little profile on the kid. So he's quite a focused guy as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he should. Max Stallman's going to start for Arsenal tonight or play for Arsenal tonight. And I think these are the sort of games, especially if you're playing against Doncaster, no disrespect to Doncaster, be fantastic. And also for Ajay, to be given permission to play against his club in this game. But it's all good. It's all some interesting stuff. Some absolutely stupidity from Ekitike last night. We'll talk about that. And, of course, this Ashcroft purchase, which has got a lot of Spurs fans, chatting away again as usual. I mean, nothing's a walk in the park with Spurs. When a story comes out, we are the ones that are left to dissect it, cogitate and digest it, should I say, and come out with our conclusion. So, when Sean and I talk about this in a second, we might have slightly different opinions on what it might be, but, we just got fingers in the air at the moment, what it could be. But, guys, just want to say, right now, September, it's hard out there for everybody. Business isn't great, and people are struggling in life. And YouTube community numbers and viewing numbers have dropped off a cliff, but not with our guys. We really appreciate everyone who's stuck by us and continued to watch us at the moment. We're at whatever club you may support, and we really appreciate it. Keep up the support. It's great stuff. Sean, should we start with this with Ashcroft? What should we do? Should we start with?
Yeah, Ashcroft? We'll start there. I'll just get the the article up. I won't run through the whole article because it's not too long, but it's just a little bit of facts in there.
Should we just start while you're getting that up? The fact that Lord Ashcroft purchased 4%, almost 4% of Spurs shares in 2008. Michael Ashcroft, the deputy chairman of the Conservative Party, upped his share in Tottenham Hotspur to nearly 4%, forcing him to go public with his holding. Lord Ashcroft owned a small number of shares before increasing it to 3.96%. Tottenham Hotspur's shares at that time closed at 141, giving the club in 2008 a valuation of £132 million. Just shows you how much it's rocketed since 2008. 132 million. From it was actually the year before that, Sean, it was 85 pence a share. So it was probably valued at about 70 million.
Yeah.
2007. So amazing how.
But the shares that take the trade on the AIM market at the time were minority shareholders, right? It were already in.
Yeah.
And so, and they trade at a huge discount to the supposed and proposed market cap of 3 billion, 3.5 billion that Tottenham's valuation is matched at because of the things that are not necessarily caught into the accounts, and also the fact that it's a private company. Yeah. So the article is basically saying what Johnny just said there about Ashcroft, the history there, and then what's essentially happened is that his son Andrew Ashcroft, who's a hotelier and businessman, he purchased 8 million shares on Friday. The price is not disclosed, but based on recent valuations, the shares is likely to have cost around 100 million quid. That's based on the 3.5 billion pound valuation. Now, what's interesting is that this has come at a time that we're obviously in a takeover period. Amanda Staveley's PCP Capital Partners and American Chinese Consortium, Roger Kennedy and Firehawk Holdings, they obviously put in the expressions of interest that we heard about on the 8th of September, I think it was. And obviously since then, we've heard that Amanda Staveley isn't going to make a full offer. We haven't yet heard from Kennedy and Firehawk Holdings and the guy NG, something Fi-NG or Kai-NG or whatever it was, his name was. They have until the 5th of October to put up or shut up. Now, this essentially is... I'll just quickly give you a little bit of background for those watching about Andrew Ashcroft, which is quite funny, right? So he's funny. I don't know if it's funny, but it's serious.
Well, I don't know about it's funny.
Yeah, but he's got a few skeletons in his closet. So in 2021, his then partner Jasmine Hartin was charged with manslaughter after accidentally shooting a police officer. Hartin was spared prison after pleading guilty, but Ashcroft obtained custody of their 2 children and moved to the Turks and Caicos Islands to launch a new business venture. So the fact that the family split up as a consequence of the incident, and the fact that Jasmine Hartin lost the access to the kids, and the fact that she pled guilty, it suggests that there's obviously something that's gone on.
Oh, can I add?
It wasn't a pure accident, right? Allegedly, anyway.
Well, can I just show? She was apparently on the pier in Belize with the policeman, and she said, "Show me your weapon," and he got out his weapon. I kid you not.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not. So he got out his weapon and he showed him the gun, and she took the gun and shot him dead. Right?
He died. He died as well. I didn't know that.
No, I think he died, didn't he? The police.
I don't know. It doesn't say that in the article.
Anyway, so basically it was manslaughter. So
but she was spared prison. I'm sure.
Right.
I say this with allegedly. But I'm sure in that part of the world, allegedly, money can get certain outcomes.
Well, so basically, what happened was there was rumours that she was having an affair with the said policeman, which has been denied.
Right.
She then tried to leave. She had to pay off to get out the country. He definitely died. She definitely shot him dead. And whatever happened then, he saw it as an opportunity to leave, and then got custody of the 2 children. The fact that he's son of a billionaire and she's not, I think it comes with the case that she's pled guilty. She lost the kid, and then
this bit's hilarious. Andrew Ashcroft getting hauled off an American Airlines flight in handcuffs and arrested for public intoxication after the pilots were forced to abandon the takeoff due to his behaviour. He's my kind of owner, Johnny.
This was his mugshot.
Hang on, it looks like my kind of geezer.
He's but you know what's interesting about all of this? As a family, they are mergers, acquisitions, extracting value, right? I believe these shares were floating shares, Sean. They know that the club is ENIC are trying to sell out, and they've acquired these floating shares, I believe, in the knowledge that someone else is going to come in and pay the money, and they can see value in it. I'm sure. Look, the dad's already.
Here's the difficult part about that story, though, Johnny. Right? Is that essentially Tottenham Hotspur? Again, just to bring back just to show you so Tottenham Hotspur have declined to comment, but because this has sort of flown under the radar and has happened, and the only way that the Guardian are aware of this is just because of the filing on the London Stock Exchange where he's bought his 8 million shares. But if Tottenham Hotspur were the sellers of those, if ENIC were the sellers of those shares in any way, shape, or form, they would have had to have announced it. So it hasn't come from ENIC.
No, it's floating shares. It's floating stock.
Right. But Lord Ashcroft, the daddy, is obviously part of the minority shareholders. So of the 13.8% or whatever it is that's out there, 4%, give or take, was owned by him, and the other 9% are owned by minority shareholders.
Yeah.
So you would think that if they were bought if they were bought by other people other than Lord Ashcroft, it would be bought by micro shareholders that own 100 shares, 500 shares, 1,000 shares. And the way that you would be able to find that out is by looking at this particular website here.
Can I just ask you a question though, Sean? If the dad was passing them to his son for tax efficiency, he would be selling them for less than the cost. That wouldn't work out.
It doesn't say on the London Stock Exchange announcement what the price paid was.
No, it doesn't. But the transfer, it would have been transfer of the shares rather than they wouldn't have announced the acquisition of the shares. The transfer of the shares to him wouldn't have been the transfer of 3.96% of Lord Ashcroft shares to Andrew Ashcroft wouldn't have triggered anything on the acquisitions. The acquisition is an acquisition.
Right, but there would be some level of notification of other people that have sold, and this is the website that would show that. Okay, so let me just walk you through it. So this is the asset match thing where companies that are essentially private companies, but that still have at some point in the past operated as on the AIM market. And then this is essentially the current up-to-date, according to what I've read. And this asset match is obviously FCA, is completely authorized by the Financial Conduct Authority. And so, as you can see here, right, the next auction, official auction, that may take place every 2 months. You can see here, 3rd of July was the previous auction.
Yeah.
Right, 29th of May, 27th of March, 30th of Jan, 28th of November, 27th of September. Usually happens towards the end of the month. And here are the previous amounts of shares issued and the price accordingly. So back in 2024, £2.19, 21,000 quid's worth of shares traded between some minority shareholders somewhere and some buyers and sellers, right? So about £40,000 worth of stock, give or take, moved. Then in May of 2024, about £30,000 worth of stock traded. In 25th of July last year, about 250 grand's worth of shares traded. And you can see it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And in the last 4 auctions, according to Asset Match, and again, this is a legit website, legit data, but I'm not sure if this is the only place where the auctions take place, but it's definitely one of the bigger ones. So 19,000 in January when Amanda Staveley had the NDA thing, then 32,000, then 42,000, then 55,000, right? So it's going gradually up, but it's not that far out of the realms of normal trade. If you look up here, apparently the auction closes tomorrow, apparently. And as you can see, there are 4 buyers currently that are willing to buy 246,400 shares at a price point of £3.22. So total 246,000. Now on the sellers list, there's 11,000 shares that are willing to be sold at £3, £3.05, £3.15, £3.22, £3.22. So in total, 246,000. If this is all accurate, and I don't know if it is, but I would have no reason to think it isn't, then 4 buyers are going to be buying 246,000 shares at £3.22 tomorrow from about 266. From an average price of about £3.18 or something like that, right?
Roughly.
So that is about £800,000 worth of stock. Again, kind of irrelevant in terms of the actual capital, but you can see that it's 5 times higher than what's been taking place in the last sort of 6 months, 7 months. Now, if Ashcroft,
expectation. Can I just
if Ashcroft had been buying the shares from other minority shareholders, it would be referenced somewhere on these sorts of things. So that might be a part of an additional purchase. And I'm not saying that it has nothing to do that he's not. That there is a chance that there's something else going on, but these things are usually referenced somewhere if it's taking place on for the micro investors share trading, mate, because people like Lubo have to be aware of these things who are other minority shareholders. Someone else messaged me earlier saying, I've got 1,000 shares. What am I supposed to do with it? I don't need them. I bought them years ago. I didn't know anything about this. So like Lubo doesn't get told about any particular interest, or anyone's not reaching out to him saying, are you interested in selling because the Ashcrofts are buying? And I'm just saying that I hear what you're saying in terms of like the acknowledgement of whether it was a purchase or a transfer of shares. But the reality is that if there was 8 million shares bought from other shareholders other than his dad, it would be referenced somewhere like a place like Asset Match.
Yeah, well,
not necessarily on Asset Match, but somewhere like.
Look, there are people out there. Look, if you're looking to buy, and you can hoover up the 13%. I'm sorry if anyone's bored out there with what we're talking about percentages and stuff, because it's not for everybody, obviously. But if you can hoover up the 13% cheaper, right, privately or what have you, contacting people, finding out who the shareholders are and hoovering them up, then, maybe they've seen value. The interesting thing for me is the hotel angle. Because Andrew Ashcroft owns Atala Belize, which is a luxury boutique hotel in Belize and is part of the Marriott Group. He developed that whole thing in Belize.
Yep.
Maybe he wants to come in on the hotel development, which is why he's acquired another 4%.
That's an interesting angle. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So,
are you sure? But I don't think he. It's not clear, mate. It's not clear whether he's bought an additional deposit or it's just a transfer. It could be either.
The point here is guys, with all these things, especially with Spurs, it's all very ambiguous, and you have to fill in the blanks. So what we do is we're coming in here and we're giving you options of what could be happening here. Personally, I think I don't believe it's a transfer, because I think if it's a transfer from the dad to the son, it wouldn't be as an acquisition. It wouldn't be listed, I don't believe, as an acquisition. It would just be passed on to him in a trust or what have you. Very similar to what Joe Lewis did with his shareholding. But it's a minority. It's 3.96%. Anyway, my point is
the other part of the story. I'll just show you this. Here you go. This is from the announcement. This is the actual thing. So
it's a collaboration, by the way. That, just to finish, the one in Belize, the Marriott Hotel, was a collaboration between him and the Marriott Hotel. So I'm just saying, with his dad involved, with the people he is involved with, in his connection to the Marriott Hotel, and Spurs potentially looking for a partner for the hotel, could there be a situation where the Marriott Hotel comes in to become a partner with Spurs on the build of the hotel, with which Andrew Ashcroft, being a shareholder, is involved in this deal, and so on and so forth? I'm just filling in gaps, potential gaps.
So it's interesting, right? So just looking at, so these are the two announcements that have come up, right? This is the first one, and it says here, owner. So it's just an owner of controller interest, right? It's not saying that he necessarily bought it. They're just saying the relevant securities owned and or controls are 8 million shares, right? So it's just a disclosure that this guy owns, that Andrew Ashcroft now owns 3.4%. It doesn't say that he bought them. Doesn't give any details about agreements to purchase or sell. However, so that would lean into my argument, right, that it's just a transfer potentially.
It could well be. It could be both.
However, there is also this other thing: public opening position disclosure by a party to an offer. The owner or controller hasn't been identified, but the offeree and the offerer has been named as Tottenham Hotspur. It doesn't say any, it doesn't give any more details, right? 0%, 0%, 0%, and it just says that ENIC own 86.9%. And that is on the same day, the 19th of January, as this one here, when it talks about Andrew Ashcroft, also on the 19th of September.
19th of September, not 19th of
January. Into some suggestion that actually the offerer of the shares was Tottenham Hotspur, but it's been conducted in a private manner and it hasn't yet been, and that's ENIC. So
we'll find out. It will come out. Actually, Paul Gregory in the chat has come out and said Marriott won't invest any money in the hotel. They will rent the space once built. They don't own any of the properties. Paul, I'm not saying that they're going to buy. I said they would be involved in the project. They're looking for partners,
it's an interesting take, though. You're right. Just the fact that he's hotels and we're trying to build it right now. The other interesting part about this, Jonny, and by the way, those two things there, they sort of tell two different stories. So there's every chance here that what you're saying is actually that it could be a new investment coming in via him, and that Tottenham Hotspur have done something. But the fact that it's not necessarily a purchase of shares, it's just a new controller of interest. A lot of this stuff is clearly being done behind the scenes, and maybe Tottenham haven't got to disclose that stuff yet because they are currently in a takeover period. And the fact of the matter is that regardless of any of this, it's very convenient timing, Jonny. Right, at the time when you're in a takeover process and you're hearing about £100 million investment that's coming, and that particular transfer of value of shares is about £100 million worth, you're left to speculate. But like, why do it now? If it's just a transfer of ownership, of all the times to do it when you're leaving room for interpretation with the lack of...
I see value. I see that they know that there's value for money. If you look at their history of Lord Ashcroft, buying up distressed companies, extracting value, maybe they can see value here, hoovering up some of the floating 13% of the share value that isn't attached to ENIC, because they know they believe ENIC is going to sell, and they can see rise in value. Look, Lord Ashcroft, as we said, his 4%, 3.96% that he bought in 2008, valued his share, valued the company at £135 million. Okay, for his 4%. His 4% now would stake him at what, Sean?
4% is
400,000. Sorry, no,
160 million pounds. 4%.
Yeah, 160 million. Yeah.
But what's interesting, right? If you look at this again,
that is some shareholding. Yeah.
Presuming this is true, though, right? Presuming this data is true, the way that this price is £3.22 that 246,000 shares are about to trade at, right? Which is about 800 grand, give or take.
Yeah. But
that's against a market cap that is valued on the AIM market or on the on the asset match market of 750 million. There's 234 million shares in issue, right? And they're trading at £3.22, which is £750 million. So
discount
whoever it is that's gobbling these shares up, whoever these four parties are that are buying these shares, they're buying these shares at a market cap of 756. Now,
that's what I'm saying.
Always trades at a massive discount because the 3.5 billion is baked into full valuation on a private methodology. So if you've got something here where you're buying these shares, even if it's 800 grand's worth of stock, you're still buying them at what might be in the not too distant future 4 times cheaper than what discount valuation.
Yeah, massive. And that's where I'm saying that they can see the valuation there. They're a massive discount to the valuation. If Spurs get their 3-4 billion, that's almost a quarter of the valuation of their true value at the moment.
If Tottenham's valuation at 3.5 billion is actually what the rest of the market thinks it is. So you can see the argument. I've got a spare 800 grand to spend. I'll buy that in that. And even if I have to wait a couple of years for the market, I'll get, when someone does come in for a full takeover, whether it's Firehawk, whether it's Stavely, whether it's whoever else, Sultan of Brunei, then you're going to have 4 times your money maybe in the next year or two.
I got to tell you, my missus bought me some Tottenham Hotspur shares, whacked them in a frame. Don't know where they are. I don't know where they are. Don't even remember how many there were. But if I could find them now, they're probably in a tip somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably in a tip somewhere. Ulrika said he's got...
so you're an owner of Tottenham Hotspur as well?
Huh?
You're an owner of Tottenham Hotspur as well? Yeah. Johnny out.
But they were bugger all in those days, Sean. They were nothing. You could buy them as a birthday present.
Yeah, for sure.
They weren't worth bugger all. We got a couple of super chats.
Yeah, let's do them. Houdini, Deanie Law, always here, always doing the magical appearing act when we're going. Houdini, choo to you, my man. Thank you very much indeed. The Super Sticker train has commenced, and the second stop on the Super Sticker train is over to Australia to see Ulrika Johnson. We're picking her up in the bath. Get your bits dried. Get the G&T poured, Ulrika. We will see you very soon, miss. We'll see you very soon. Thank you very much as well. Choo to you. Yeah, interesting stuff, Johnny. And like I say, mate, the timing of it is either incredibly convenient or it's incredibly inconvenient. And by the way, that 800,000 shares, again, presuming there's that truth, that stuff's all up to date and factual, that might not be Ashcroft that's buying it. It might be Tottenham Hotspur through some proxy that's buying it because they want to make sure that they can get there. They don't want these minority shareholders getting trades at 4 times.
They would rather hoover them up because they would rather hoover up the 13% and... which they have done over a period of time. They've been hoovering up shares and doing their business. But listen, it doesn't get away from the fact that, I'd like to know the question why they've gone for a 100 million payday loan on next year's earnings now. Obviously, because cash flow is not so good. While we're on Spurs, because this isn't a Spurs channel, but let's just finish off with this with the Spurs bit. Before we move on to some of the other things. Yesterday, Thomas Frank on Harry Kane, on his possible return, said, I think there's a lot of Tottenham fans, including myself, who would like to see Kane back. If Harry wants to join us, he's more than welcome. Do you think that was just sort of a throwaway line to appease the press when in reality, I think he goes on to say later on, but why would he come back? He's having a massive success in Germany. The only reason I can see him not managing to get to Barcelona is because unlike Lewandowski, who was coming to the end of his contract, for Harry Kane to go there next year will cost them £56 million. And we know that Barcelona don't have £56 million. Do you think this is just chatter that won't go away? Or do you think there is some real substance in, if for example, he was to come back, how would that impact, Dom Solanke and all the rest of them? Well, sorry, Dom, Harry's back. You have to sit on the bench now. Does that mean all of the players would suddenly want to leave the club and it would have a detrimental effect on the club overall? Not maybe on the playing field, but maybe the vibe at the club. I don't know. What do you think?
Look, you got to do what's best for the football club, not worry about individuals and their tantrums about minutes. But no, I think competition's good. What I would say is I don't personally think it's going to happen. But I also find it very strange that Thomas Frank's general stance, as is most managers, even when you're about to sign a player, but you haven't quite signed him yet, even if you've even got the here we go, but the paperwork's not signed, you hear managers in pre-match press conferences say, I'll never talk about a player that's not one of our own, right? He's our own player. Yet Thomas Frank had the audacity to break that rule yesterday and basically come and get me plea, and I'm like, that's a bit odd. Like, what? It
was out of character, wasn't it?
Very much out of character. And it's like, if I'm Bayern Munich, I'm like, well, what the hell's going on there? And that sort of behavior is so out of character for someone that's so sensible and normally just like, on a par the whole time, that maybe he's speaking in a way like it's, I don't know, mate. Listen, everything about Tottenham right now, mate, I don't have any clear ideas on anything. I don't know.
It's all up in the air. We're here to fill in the gaps. James in the chat says, why wouldn't a player want to play alongside Kane? James, my point is here that for many years we tried to sign another striker to play alongside or to be support of Harry Kane, and none of the talent wanted to sign for us because they knew they wouldn't get any minutes. And that was a problem for a long, long time. No one wanted to play second fiddle to Harry Kane because they knew once he was there that they were never going to get any minutes unless he was injured. And that put a lot of people off. Listen, if he comes back, fantastic. And if he doesn't, great. I'm no massive fan of Solanke, I've got to be honest with you. And Richie hasn't done what he should have done. So, we need an upgrade. But my point is, if we sold Solanke and Richie and we bought in Harry Kane, and then we wanted to supplement that with a young striker, we would struggle because they would say, well, hang on a minute, I'm not going to comment on that front. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, listen, I'd love Harry Kane to come back. And if you had to ask me right now, of the two, who would I rather, stay and the other one leave? I obviously would rather Solanke. Solanke hasn't exactly he hasn't really had any time to play under Thomas Frank. But when we saw him in the micro minutes we got to see him in pre-season, he didn't really stand out. And I was hoping that seeing him play in the 9, there would be under a new vision, a new manager that wasn't kind of making him play that sacrificial lamb role. I was hoping that you'd see a brilliant version of him. In the minutes, I think when he came off the bench, was it against PSG? He came off the bench. He was poor, didn't do the hold-up work that Richarlison did or Kudus did.
Yeah.
And that him and Tell kind of cost us in that game at the end there to a degree. Look, I mean, Richarlison for me he's always got moments in him, but he's also got, just the general run path of the course. If you're giving me the option, mate, does Harry Kane come back?
Oh, of course.
Of course you bring him back, But then maybe as he gets older, maybe his natural position will actually float back to being a 10. And then what happens, right? You've got Xavi Simons, it's interesting. At the moment, that's a future problem. That's a problem for future Sean and Jonny to worry about. The current Sean and Jonny can worry about, how do we get the best out of what we have until January? And look, mate, let's just finish off on the Tottenham story, the Tottenham part of the segment of the show. A little bit about tonight. So, obviously, when the Carabao Cup, Junior Byfield didn't play last night in the 6-2 beating by Plymouth. Neither did Luca Williams-Barnett. Do you envision them? Obviously, they'll probably be a part of the squad, but do you think that either of them going to start? Do you think?
I think both of them will get minutes. I'd be surprised if both. The thing is, Davis is injured, which is a problem. Personally, I thought the under-21 captain, which is often Callum Oluwesi, would get minutes tonight, funny enough. But he played last night in the 6-2 hammering they received, a much weakened squad. But they were definitely missing quite a few of the players. I think... I mentioned it before. Williams-Barnett 100% deserves to be getting minutes tonight. When you look at the fact that match, pardon?
To start or off the bench?
I think off the bench. If I'm honest, I think it will be off the bench, depending on fitness, injuries. Bearing in mind that we have 2 games in like 3 days. We've got the Wolves game at 8:00 at night, and then we've got Bodo on Tuesday night. I mean, it's outrageous. They should have, that should have been, made on the Friday night, that game, or Saturday, at 3:00 in the afternoon. They should have said, look, we've got this game coming up. You're going to interrupt our Champions League games. So 2 massive games. So I feel you have to rest as many first-team players as possible. So for me, it will be Matthias Tell up front, leading the line. Brendan Johnson on the right.
Call him Brenda again almost.
I was going to call her Brenda because she was honestly.
He's been so bad, and he's got
honestly, I was shouting he came on for 20 minutes as a sub, and he was trotting around like a bloody show pony. Did nothing. Didn't track back. Didn't do anything. It was really frustrating, especially when we're chasing the game. So Odebert on the left, him on the right. I believe him in the middle, Tell leading the line. And then at the back, it looks like it's...
Who in the 10?
Pardon?
Who in the 10?
Yeah, there lies the problem.
I think you give some minutes to Xavi Simons. He only played 25 minutes on.
Yeah, well, what's name still got
Saturday.
a dead leg, which threw a spanner in my works because I thought Kolo Muani would get some minutes. So maybe, Simmons is a 10, and then I would be playing Archie Gray, and then maybe Papa Sarr because he didn't play in the weekend.
I agree.
And then at the back, I would be giving Pedro Porro a day off, and I'd play Jed Spencer at the right. I would play Destiny, who needs more games, on the left-hand side. And in the middle, I would be playing Danso and another.
That's the other one is the bit though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Mickey van der Ven is more.
Don't want him playing.
I don't want him playing either. But then do you put Danso at left-sided centre-back, or do you put Romero at left-sided centre-back? I don't think you can put Junai Byfield in straight away. They got like a big old lump up front, haven't they, Doncaster? They got like an old school captain who's just going to target Byfield if they go in that direction, you know.
Listen, Spurs related is going. We have a fullback issue. We have 3 starting fullbacks and not enough for 4 competitions. I think more of an issue is the fact, James, who's in the chat, who brought that up, is the fact that we still yet again didn't buy a competitive left-sided centre-back. We should have been going in there and buying Hincapié, who can play left centre-back and left-back, solves double problems. Fantastic.
He didn't want to come to Tottenham, did he? He didn't want to come.
No. Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I think you should go and get Castello Lucaba from your club, RB Leipzig.
RB Leipzig. We're selling players like they're going out of fashion, but we're still producing a bit like
market, mate. There's a lot. The economy on its knees, mate. RB Leipzig's not immune to the economy, buddy. They need that coin in. They need that coin. And Tottenham Hotspur, maybe with a drunken ex-convict's wife's husband's money, maybe we can go and do a little bit about that.
Yeah, Davids is injured. So it's Danso and another. Why not Danso and Byfield?
Just because I was saying, I think that the Doncaster number 9, I think he's like a 35-year-old, been around the blocks quite a lot. He's a big lump of a geezer. I just think
Danso's a big one. You put Danso on him. Why not? Danso and Byfield. Why not? Well,
I don't mind it. I've never seen Byfield play, mate. I've heard wonderful things about him. I've only ever seen him in the under 21s.
For me, like when you see a player play and there's something about them, it's like when I saw Ledley King as a kid, right? And the same with Mark Gahey. When I saw him, I thought Mark Gahey reminded me of a young Ledley King. This kid, Byfield, to me, is the closest thing I've seen to Leslie King. And that includes all the trumpets up, Dorrington and the Phillips and all the rest of it. This kid, for me, really looks the real deal. I know he's young and lots can happen, but Billy Sharp.
That's the geezer. Billy Sharp.
Thanks, James.
He's been around the block, that geezer. He's 39. He's 39, is he? Jeez, yeah.
39. Listen,
he's a lump. So that's the only reason I was thinking he would be smart enough to go, I'll bite the 16-year-olds on. All right, I'll go and give him a cheeky dig in the ribs. I'll basically wrestle with him for a little while and see if I can get some activity, some options. But we shall see, mate. We shall see. Just quick score prediction for that game, and then we'll move on.
I mean, the other thing is, as Barron said, Archie Gray has played centre-back. So it could easily be Archie Gray and him, and then play a different player.
Or something in the 6.
Yeah. So, if you can't play the kids against Doncaster, when will you ever play them? So, guys, if you're in the chat, please hit the like button, smash the granny out the like button. And again, if I keep asking, sorry to keep asking, but so many of you guys, you're in the chat and you watch us and you never hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you any money. It's just so you can find us, but it helps our channel grow. Monitor it by likes, subscribes, interactions, and all the rest of it. So if you could help us, that'd be great. Guys, in the chat, let us know your predictions. I'm going to go 3-0 Spurs. Sean, what are you going to go for?
2-0 Tottenham.
2-0. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat. Right, let's move on to...
You don't put me on a football pitch, mate. Put me on a rugby pitch, I can throw my weight around and do a thing or two. But I used to be able to. Football wise, never kick the ball, mate. You know, Bugsy's better at football than I am.
4-0. We've got 4-0, 2-1, 3-1. Yeah, keep them coming. Keep us coming. Right, last night's game. Southampton did very well last night against Liverpool. Alexander Isak scoring his first goal. Great stuff. But what was Ekitike thinking? I mean, did he have a rush to the head? He's already got booked. He scores the winning goal and takes his shirt off and gets sent off. He's now missing. He's now going to miss the Crystal Palace game. I mean, absolute buffoonery.
Yeah.
Buffoonery. Do we put that down to a young kid, or do we just
it's just a mistake, mate, and it's just a mistake. He's obviously forgotten the rule, or just whatever. At least things happen.
Caught in the moment.
Yeah, I listen. I mean, bit of a donut, but donut thing to do. But
I think Scott was very happy.
I'm sure he wasn't. And he won't do it again, will he? Let's be honest. But look, Liverpool go through with another goal. If the game finished at 80 minutes, where would Liverpool be this season? Nowhere near where they are. But instead, they're 7 wins from 7. Not a single point dropped.
And struggling again, another late goal.
Another late goal, yeah.
Another late goal. In fact, Kicks TV has just told us he got booked. Initially, the first booking was for punching the ball away. I mean, double donut.
Double donuts, yeah. What a dunking donut.
That's proper bozo behaviour.
Yeah, it is.
But then, look, Liverpool... that's going to cost Liverpool. They need Ekitike against Crystal Palace away. We've seen how good Palace are at home and how they're performing at the moment, and it's going to be a big test. I guess now that says that Alexander Isak will 100% start against Palace on the weekend.
Yeah, 100%.
Another team that was struggling at half time when you saw the scores was Lincoln beating Chelsea. 2-1. But that Tyreek George, was he not called back? Wasn't he not going somewhere? Was it? I'm trying to think what club he was going to.
Yeah.
And he still fell through.
That's right.
He scored a fantastic goal from outside the box.
Yeah, he played some minutes as well, didn't he? Because he played during the game against United as well, I think, when, because they haven't got Liam Delap at the moment. And there's someone else that's missing from their forward line. So he's been getting some minutes, and he looks like a good player, mate. He looks like a
really good player. Not only did he score that goal from outside the box, but he also set up Buonanotte to get the winner. And, it's funny, isn't it? You're going to send a kid away, and by default, he comes back, and then he starts performing above the level that you thought, and then suddenly you're left with a conundrum. We should have such conundrums. And there's another one last night. Diego Gomez, Brighton signing from Juventus.
Yeah. 2 goals. How many goals was it he scored?
He scored 3 goals.
4 goals. 4 goals he got.
4 goals, but 3 before half time.
Yeah.
And one of them was an absolute, unbelievable shot. I don't know if everyone has seen it. It's one of probably the goal of the tournament so far. He hits the ball from outside the box, and it goes like a banana. Sean, we see people complaining about the ball this season and its moving. We've heard Raya complaining about it. We saw Sunderland's goalkeeper completely fluff a shot that was going straight towards him, and he said it moved in the air. Yeah. If you haven't seen Diego Gomez's goal last night, go and have a look at it. It was an unbelievable strike, but the bend on it was just absolutely ridiculous. It was Roberto Carlos going the opposite direction.
Really? I haven't seen that. I'll go and take a look.
Yeah, you need to have a look at that goal. It was fantastic. So, I mean, the scores last night, obviously, Lincoln 1, Chelsea 2, Barnsley 0, Brighton 6, Burnley losing at home to Cardiff, which was a shock. Wolves, Dr. Tottenham for Wolves. Yeah. Just know it. They suddenly found their first victory of the season, winning 2-0 at home to Everton. which was a surprise. Let's be honest, the way they were playing, and Wrexham beating Reading. I'm not sure whether they've turned the corner on that one, but interesting to see. It was a fantastic goal, though. If you get time to see the Gomez goal, have they unearthed another quality player? I know it was against the lowly team, but they brought him from Juventus,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but still.
League One team. No, we'll find out, mate, won't we? We'll find out. Bring the third one up on the screen. I'm not bringing up the content on the screen, James. I'm not going to get copywritten, mate. Look, I mean, interesting games. And then tonight, obviously, mate, there's some other games. We've got Newcastle, Bradford tonight, Huddersfield against City, Tottenham, Doncaster, we spoke about them, and Port Vale, Arsenal. If that ball is flying around, mate, you'd love to hear another story. Port Vale scoring an absolute belter in the 90th minute to knock Arsenal out, and then Arteta saying, it's a disgrace. The ball, it's a disgrace.
Honestly, I can't bear listening. As soon as he comes on, I don't have this with any other manager. I didn't even have it with Arsene Wenger, who used to annoy me at times. But Arteta I speak to other fans from other clubs, and they have the similar disposition. I used to think, it's just because I'm a Spurs fan. No,
it's because he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, mate.
Always.
He's so snarky with it. He's smart ass, snarky little git. He's always got an excuse. Like I say, the fact that Newcastle had to play a couple of days after, from the European football into the Premier League or vice versa. The fact that Tottenham have got to do it this next weekend. At some point in the fixture list, it will be happening to Arsenal, and he'll complain like it's unique to them.
Yeah, he's always at it. While we're on the topic of Arsenal, Noni Madueke, if you're an Arsenal fan, you'd be happy to hear that is only going to be around 2 months with a knee injury, and it wasn't his ACL. The other news is, as we spoke about yesterday, Vinicius Jr. seems to be very unhappy at the moment. He's not top dog. Everyone vying for top dog position. There doesn't seem to be a united Real Madrid at the moment. Mm-hmm. He's been linked to Arsenal or Liverpool, and could be one to watch in the months ahead, as both clubs have been informed about Real Madrid's forward's potential availability. I mentioned the fact that they are still looking at Takefusa Kubo, the Japanese winger, and Mikel Arteta on Piero Hincapié, who hasn't played. He picked up a little groin injury. We have to look in the next week, see how he is. It's a short-term injury.
Sorry, Johnny, there's another story out from The Athletic an hour ago, just dropped. FIFA have held discussions about expanding the 2030 World Cup to 64 teams.
Oh, shut nations. Up. Shut up.
What are we doing here? Where on God's green earth are we going to find the time for all the
qualification? There's no jeopardy.
It ruins the fucking season. It ruins it. I hate it. Like, we've got another one coming up in 10 days' time or whatever, 2 weeks' time. Got a 2-week break. And I think next year there's a 3-week break or something at some point in the early part of the season. Drives me up the wall. Like, 32 teams is too much anyway, mate. When you get to 32 teams in the World Cup, at least like 8 of them are just irrelevant nothing burgers of teams that are just sitting there propping up the bottom of the tables in their various groups. To go to 64, it's just going to be insane. It's going to be so long. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Money grabbing little shits. That's all it is.
It's like international football. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. As a kid growing up, for me, the World Cup, I was so excited. You get your book, you get your fixtures. You used to get your sticker album, and you try, because you didn't have the internet then, and you'd get the players from Brazil, and they were always like unbelievable. Like, who's this? Oh, I have to keep an eye on him, and it was all exciting stuff. Now it's like, nah. It's I don't even have the excitement for the World Cup next season, because I have very low expectations because of the heat and the humidity. It's going to be a big disadvantage to the European clubs, and it's going
to. I don't even know where it is. Oh, it's in America, isn't it?
America, yeah.
America, yeah, cool.
I just think 32 clubs was enough, right? And then we got the extension this year, and 64 teams. It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, honestly, it's an absolute farce.
No interest in that bollocks. I just can't stand it. The tournament should be shrunk to 16, and then the qualification thing would actually be quite interesting.
But it's going to be over 4 weeks. It's still going to be over the 4 weeks, but they're going to double the teams, wangle some more money out of it. It's and also there's no jeopardy. Like I said, what is the jeopardy of England qualifying for the World Cup? We don't have the situation like, when you've got all these teams. FIFA do not want big clubs not to qualify for the World Cup. They want them all there. They don't want Italy not qualifying or England not qualifying. That's the thing. I mean, what's the chance of England not qualifying this year? 0, right? 0. And, if you make it to 64 teams for the next one, it's going to be even less of a jeopardy. Yeah, because everyone's going to.
It, mate. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Bring it back to club football.
Yeah.
CBR Football here are saying that Arsenal and Liverpool have both been informed that 25-year-old Brazilians. I know you spoke about Vinicius Junior a second ago. My question being about that, I don't know why they're not necessarily including Manchester City in that list. They were looking at maybe thinking about getting Rodrigo. If Vinny Junior is now not happy playing his minutes, does Rodrigo get a slice of the pie again? Does he get to go and play on the left-hand side?
No, this is the point here. This is what we spoke about, mid-season. There's something fundamentally wrong where everyone's, my dick's bigger than yours. There's a lot of dick swinging going on between Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo. And, we saw at PSG, that stuff doesn't work. Ultimately, it doesn't work. Young and hungry, like we saw with Paris Saint-Germain, they're fantastic football. Hungry young players. We saw what happened when they had the Neymar, the Messis, and the Mbappes. It was the same stuff. And one of them's going to go. It's just which one
and where. Because my question was going to be, if there's a move that's happening in January. Those sorts of deals don't usually take place in the.
Surely Arsenal ain't got the money. Surely.
Who?
Surely Arsenal don't have any more money for.
Arsenal would have to sell Martinelli or Trossard to make space, right? And even then, selling both of them, you're not going to get as much money as it's going to take to get him in. But if it was Manchester City, does that revive? Not to bring it back to Tottenham, but they're on my chest here. Savio, because he hasn't played, has he? He's played a few minutes. He stayed because he was sold. I'm not going to put in a transfer request, but I am in the World Cup year, and he was up for coming to Tottenham. City said basically wasted our time, probably because Daniel Levy was in charge still. Levy's now gone. Maybe that bridge can be mended with Manchester City and Tottenham, and maybe now if someone else is picking up the phone, maybe it will get answered with a slightly more flattering ear. And then at the same time, you got a geezer that isn't playing the minutes, because after that performance by Jeremy Doku, by the way, I mean, Jeremy Doku's performance the other day against Arsenal was unbelievable.
He's like a dog, wasn't he?
Unbelievable performance by him. Surely Savio's probably sitting there going, I'm not playing, and it's a World Cup year. Maybe a cheeky loan deal on the cards, Johnny.
I don't know, Sean. I'll ask you this: when you've looked at him, and he has come on. And I'm not talking about.
I know what you're going to say, and the answer is I completely agree. He hasn't looked that good.
Correct. Yeah. He don't look like 30 million at the moment, let alone 80.
He's like, I want a player who's physical. I want a guy that can do a bit of kudos. Does he look
physical to you? No. Lookman for me. I'd rather have Lookman in January.
Yeah.
Personally.
Same.
I'm not saying that Savinho's not a good player. He's exciting, but you got to be doing it. And let's be honest.
Stats on Lookman. I was doing the Y Scout thing like way back, saying, get me one of Lookman, Anthony Gordon. And I said, Garnacho as well is a player that I would have taken, right? But he's obviously gone to Chelsea and he's obviously a donut. Maybe there's still a donut in Lookman as well. Don't know. But for me, he's not as physical as Kudus, but he's certainly put on a lot of weight. He's a stack for a little fella.
I think Vinicius Junior, if he was going to go anywhere, would probably end up in Chelsea to go with all the rest of the Brazilians. Probably they find money, mate. He's
Mr. Maresca.
150 million.
Delivery for Mr. Maresca. Oh, easy. It's another one. I'll throw him in the bag with the rest.
Yeah, we've got a good Brazilian compound over here. At Barcelona, just coming on to Barca while we're out in Spain, and we've done Real Madrid. Frankie de Jong, it seems to be a breakthrough in the Frankie de Jong talks with the Dutch midfielder now looking to extend to 2029. Interesting how football changes so quickly. Here's a player that they were trying to force out the club no more than 18 months ago, trying to force him out to extend it so they can make way for others. But he's staying. He's staying now. Gavi will be out for 4 to 5 months with a serious knee injury. He had surgery on it yesterday. He's facing a lengthy recovery. Chelsea are looking for a new goalkeeper. What a shock. Would you say Mike Maignan, they're going to come back for Mike Maignan? He can sign a pre-contract from AC Milan in January. Or do they wait? I don't think Chelsea can afford to wait until next summer for a goalkeeper. So it's a shock for us. You buy all these players, like we said about Man United, we really
you don't fix the right part of the roof.
Yeah.
I agree. Emi Martinez still at Villa. New guy coming in, new geezer coming in. Olabi. Alabi. He's interested in the youth, so maybe he wants to, cash in, make a statement. We shall see, mate. There's not a lot of goalkeepers available, and very rarely do they move mid-season. By the way, I'm pretty sure that you're cup tied, right? If you played a minute in your European campaign for one club and you'd move, you can't.
No, apparently not, Sean. Apparently not. Apparently, because I thought Savinho would be cup tied, but apparently he's not. I don't know if it's a change in the rule, but apparently it's not. I don't know when that rule changed. Here's quite a fun one. Patrick, I can't find the goal. Bamford has been linked to a move to Getafe. He's available on a free transfer. No one willing to pick him up, even in the Championship, which is surprising.
I always liked Patrick Bamford. Back in the day, I thought he was always a handy player,
Wrexham, I thought maybe.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a nice
like
move.
That. But I'm not sure what's happening with.
There's no cup tie, but you can't change your squad until after the league stage. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Spurs could sign a player,
doesn't it? I think. Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, so just to right. So the one thing that Sean and I certainly did, have been banging on like a stuck record, was Liverpool's huge mistake with letting what's the name go to Quansah to go to Bayer Leverkusen and not having cover. And people said, "Oh, don't worry, they're going to sign Mark Gahey." He said, "If they sign Mark Gahey, fantastic, great." They said, "Don't worry, they've signed Leone. Leone, really top talent, but still you're a bit threadbare." Now the news that Giovanni Leone's injury, he's down. Because for him, it didn't feel good immediately, but there's something now we have to assess. They're going to have an MRI scan on Leone's injury to see how serious it is. If they lost him, they really are down to threadbares. I mean, even with Leone, having just come on and played his first proper game last night, they're in trouble, Sean, at the back.
Yeah, let me get the detailed squad up and let's have a look. Let's see what they're doing here. So, Liverpool are... Is it on the screen?
No, not yet.
Here we go. Liverpool have in centre-back, they've got Konate, Gomez and Leone, but Leone's out injured.
So they got Endo and Robertson, who could potentially play there. Meanwhile, Endo played at centre-back and headed the ball into his... He was at fault with the reason why they scored the goal.
Robertson playing centre off. About that. Gee whiz.
That's what I said. This could be their downfall. I know they're winning every game now, but Joe Gomez isn't good enough. Canate
and Van Dijk's 34. Can he really play
they can't
every
play
minute of every game?
They can't. So they're going to have to rely on Endo or Robertson covering up in that centre-back position, and it's just not good enough. You look at Spurs have got more cover than Liverpool, right, in the centre-back.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
Who?
Reece Williams. Where's he playing? Is he playing at Morecambe, or is he playing at? Oh no, he's back at. So they've taken him back, whoever he is.
Look at his valuations dropped off a frigging cliff.
Big lad, though. He's 24 years old.
Yeah, mate. If you're not playing and getting minutes now by 24 years of age, they are out. Ulrika, good night. Thank you for.
Thank you, Ulrika. I have a super chat here as well, by the way. Spurs OC, big up to you, Spurs OC. I still don't know if you are OC Orange County.
No, he's not. He's in America, but he's not in the OC.
He's not in the OC. Okay,
no, he's not in the OC. He's not there.
Thank you very much, mate. Choo to you, buddy. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Very much appreciate that. Appreciate all of you guys. Jonny, I'm not going to be able to spend too much longer, mate. I've got to take the dog out for a walk, and I've got to get up to Tottenham. So we've got another 5.
No worries. Just the only other one. I mean, there are other stories. We can save them for later. But he's in Ozark. Jiva Sandoros said he's in Ozark. Have you seen Ozark?
That's the lakes, isn't it? That's like the lakes, that program. Yeah. It's a good program, actually.
Very good.
I like the main character. He always plays like a quirky, intelligent.
He wrote it as well.
Did he?
He wrote it. Yeah, he wrote it and directed it. I mean, listen, there's lots of other stuff coming in, and obviously there'll be lots of other news. Let me just check quickly before you go whether there's any other football news out. There isn't really. It's a quieter week. I'm no doubt there'll be more to talk about later. I think we'll leave it there, guys. Please hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. And if you're on audio, we're starting to get messages on the audio now for Apple and Spotify, and we're just asking people now to hit the follow and give us a 5-star rating. James, you can pop along to Apple, mate, and give us a 5-star rating. I know you're a good lad.
Big up to you, James. Big up, everybody. We will leave it there. We're back tomorrow lunchtime. If you're around.
Yeah, I'm around. I'll be here. And so it's goodbye from me.
And that means it's goodbye from him.
Bye.